global superpower, which regularly issues hostile threats against Iran. They happen to be in violation of the UN Charter, if anybody cares, but nobody does, so I'll ignore that. But Iranians don't. And Iranians can hardly forget the invasion of Iran by Saddam Hussein, and the murderous impact of the chemical weapons that he used and that the world ignored. Nor can they overlook the fact that Saddam's aggression was strongly backed by the United States and Britain, and indeed most of the world's powerful states. After the U.S.-British invasion of Iran, of Iraq in 2003, one of Israel's leading military historians, Martin von Crefeld, wrote that if Iran is not developing nuclear weapons as a deterrent, they're crazy. Well, whether they're planning to do so, nobody knows, but it's quite likely, for these reasons alone, that they're pursuing at least the lesser goal of nuclear capability. It's worthwhile looking closely at the Iranian nuclear issue for two reasons. The first, because, as I mentioned, the Western powers take it to be the major threat to world order. Second, because if we look at it closely, we learn important lessons about the factors that have determined the policies of the great powers until today, and will surely have a powerful impact on what lies ahead. So let's take a close look. First question is, what exactly is the Iranian threat that so exercises the United States and its European allies? There is an authoritative answer to this question. It was provided by high-level Pentagon and intelligence reports to the U.S. Congress in April 2010. And I'll quote a few of the central passages. The reports make it clear that the Iranian threat is not a military threat. Iran's military spending, they say, is relatively low compared to the rest of the region, and of course minuscule as compared with the United States, which spends almost as much as the rest of the world combined, and is far more advanced than anyone else in development of means of destruction and control. Iranian military doctrine, the reports say, is defensive, designed to slow an invasion and force a diplomatic solution to hostilities. It is a defensive doctrine of delay and attrition. Iran has only a limited capability to project force beyond its borders. With regard to the nuclear option, the reports say Iran's nuclear program and its willingness to keep open the possibility of developing nuclear weapons is a central part of its deterrent strategy. So the threat is not military. What then is the threat? Well, the Pentagon and intelligence reports identify it clearly. They say Iran is seeking to expand its influence in neighboring countries. There's a name for these activities. They're called destabilizing activities. In contrast, U.S. NATO invasions of Iran's neighbor are understood in the West as efforts to impose stability. In imperial jargon, the term stability means obedience to the will of the powerful, and resistance to these efforts is called destabilizing. The conceptual framework is not only standard, but unchallenged. So take one example, the former editor of the major establishment journal, Foreign Affairs, it was properly using the term stability in its technical sense when he explained that in order to achieve stability in Chile in 1973, it was necessary to destabilize the country by overthrowing the government and installing a vicious dictatorship which not only slaughtered and tortured within on a massive scale, but also became the center for state terrorism and installation of harsh dictatorships throughout the hemisphere. The description of that outcome is stability, and the observation that destabilization was needed to bring about this stability passed without notice, which is entirely understandable, since these are the